I have noticed that many of you have been sending me questions that you have faced on your exams, and many of them are making reference to technology in some way. And I thought today perhaps we could go over how to properly reference technology and various kinds of technology in our essay. So before we begin today's lesson, let's go over a few of the variations on the word technology. So in our writing, when we make reference to technology without the word the, without any kind of article, we are talking about a global reference to all technology. This is technology in all of its forms, all over the world. So typically when we start an essay, in the first couple of sentences, we start with a very broad topic and then we become more narrow. So this is where we would probably use this word. So, for example, technology has been developing rapidly over the past 50 years. Now, when I say this sentence, I'm talking about all technology all over the world. When we decide to put an article in front of the word technology, the meaning is changed a little bit. So when we make reference to the technology, we are talking about a particular technology in a particular field. So sometimes online students, they confuse the two words. They might use the technology when they should be using just technology, and sometimes they use technology when they should be using the technology. So the technology makes reference to a particular technology in a particular field. So for example, we might say the technology of agriculture. And alternatively, we could just say agricultural technology. But when we put the in front of technology, we're talking about a specific kind or a specific field of technology. So if this is an area that's kind of confusing to you, just remember that difference. Now, there are times when we want to couple the word technology with a noun. So, for example, the word technological can be used when we want to couple technology with a noun, such as technological developments or technological differences. A lot of students in their essays, when they write them and submit them to me, they write technology developments or technology differences. We're better to alter the word a little bit. And finally, when we want to couple the word technology with an adjective or a verb, we can do this by using the word technologically. So for example, technologically dependent. So something that is dependent on technology. Or technologically inclined. Something that is likely to use technology. So if you face a question on your exam that uses the word technology, you should try to make yourself fluent in the various uses of this word. Okay, now this past week, a student sent me an email with a question that I thought would fit well into this lesson. Unfortunately, they did not include where they saw the question, and I can't seem to get them to respond by email. So this is a question that appeared on the exam this past week in October, but I'm not sure where it was seen. The question reads, technology is causing environmental problems. Some people think every person should adopt simple lifestyle changes to solve this issue. But others think technology will be a major part of the solution. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Okay, let me give you a chance to read the question to yourself. All right, so now the very first sentence in the question is key. This is telling us, it's not asking us, it's telling us that technology is at the root of many environmental problems. So this is sort of the argument that the rest of the question is based on. Technology causes environmental problems. The second part of the question gives us two opinions in response to this initial argument. So the first opinion is, some people think every person should adopt simple lifestyle changes to solve this issue. So the idea being that to fix these problems caused by technology, people should change themselves, not necessarily change the technology. They should change the things that they do in their everyday lives. That's one side of the argument. The other side is, but others think technology will be a major part of the solution. So this side, of course, is saying that technology at some point will become so advanced that it is able to help itself, and all of the damages that it causes to the environment will be treatable by future technologies. Okay, these are the two sides of the argument. Now, we have some instruction words. We have two instruction words. Discuss both views. That's our first instruction. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Okay, very straightforward. Now, looking at this instruction portion of the question, we know that we're going to be responding to this essay question in a discussion essay format. So basically, we're going to look at the first point of view, look at the second point of view, and then at the end, we are going to state which point of view we feel is stronger. Okay, let's start our essay together. Now, while we're writing, please make note of how we use the word technology. I'm sure that we will come up with a few variations on the way that we use it. So please keep your eyes open for that. So the first sentence is, of course, a background sentence. And in this background sentence, we are talking about technology. And we might want to say something kind of global in nature about technology. So let's start by saying that maybe technology has given humanity many good things. There are many advantages to the new technologies that have arisen in modern times, we'll say. So instead of saying the technology, I'm just starting with technology. We're talking about all technology everywhere. Technology has brought, let's say, numerous benefits, we'll say, to lifestyles and maybe societies around the world. Okay? So just a general sentence about technology. Technology has brought numerous benefits to lifestyles and societies around the world. Now, we have to start narrowing down to our topic for today. And as you remember, the essay question told us that technology is the cause of many environmental problems. So we need to start to look at that here. So now that I've written that technology is a good thing, I'm going to kind of slightly curb what we're saying and make it clear that technology is also at the root of certain environmental problems. So, but with it, a number of environmental problems say have been set in motion. Okay? So, but with it, a number of environmental problems have been set in motion. Now, these kinds of phrases, but with it, are very key in your essay. This shows your examiner that you know how to use cohesion. Do you see how this little phrase, but with it, links our sentence, the second sentence, to the first sentence? What is it? It is referring to technology, which is the idea we brought up in the first sentence. So when we read both sentences together, the idea flows very nicely. Okay. Now let's establish the discussion that we are going to have. So let's say whether technology will ultimately prove the solution to these issues is a highly contentious issue. No, sorry, just use issue. Highly contentious topic. Okay, so now we've stated here whether technology will ultimately prove the solution to these issues is a highly contentious topic. So we're saying if technology is able to fix these environmental problems, these issues, this question is something that is debated by many. So some agree and some disagree. Now, we could replace this sentence with something like many people feel that, and then technology, will be the ultimate solution to these problems. However, others feel that people need to make lifestyle changes to solve this issue. We can write it like that as well. But today, let's just stick with this sentence. Okay, now the last sentence in our introduction paragraph is simply going to say the plan for the rest of the essay. So we want to say something like, we are going to look at both sides of this debate before we come to some kind of conclusion. So we're telling the reader that don't expect to see our point of view right away. We're going to look at the points of view of other people and the evidence that supports those points of view, and then we're going to come to a conclusion based on the analysis that we do. So let's say something like, in this essay, both sides of this debate will be analyzed before a reasoned conclusion is reached or drawn, you could say. So in this essay, both sides of this debate will be analyzed before a reasoned conclusion is drawn. Okay? Now, as you can see, I have employed exactly 4 sentences, and that is true for all of the videos that I've uploaded. 4 sentences works very nicely in your essay. It gives you a chance to bring up the topic broadly, to narrow it to the specific topic you're going to talk about in the essay, and then it allows you to include a sentence at the end, this sentence here, that tells your reader, which in this case is an IELTS examiner, what the plan is for the essay. So when they finish reading your introduction paragraph, they know exactly what you are going to do in the remainder of the essay. Okay? If the reader gets through the introduction paragraph and they are unclear about what the topic is, or they are unclear about what the plan is for the essay, they're going to enter into the second paragraph confused. And this is, of course, not what we want. We want them to feel comfortable when they finish reading this, that they know that there is a plan for the entire essay from start to finish. Okay. Now let's continue to our first supporting paragraph. Now our task is to look at the first point of view, which suggests people make lifestyle changes. So let's start perhaps with, on the one hand, many believe that individuals should adopt simpler and less, we'll say, technologically dependent lifestyles to tackle environmental damage. Okay, so on the one hand, many believe that individuals should adopt simpler and less technologically dependent lifestyles to tackle environmental damage. What am I being told here? Okay, I'll take away that dash. So now you can see the way that we've modified the word technology so that we can couple it with an adjective. Technologically dependent lifestyles. Now, this is not our opinion, but we still need to find evidence to support this point of view. So, now prior to making the video, I had been thinking a little bit about the question, and I thought an example that we could use for this side of the argument could be that today grocery stores tend to not give out plastic bags for free anymore. They charge for them, or they ask their patrons to bring their own bags from home. So, for example, I know at Carrefour, the big French international grocer, they are requiring their customers to buy the plastic bags. And I think this is a move to kind of help encourage people to bring bags from home. Now at another company, Metro, which I think is a German company, the Metro warehouse sort of grocery store, they tend to ask people more to bring their own bags from home. Now, you can buy their bags, but they're quite expensive. Okay, so let's use something like that as our example. So let's go with Carrefour. Everybody knows Carrefour. So the example could be, for example, many international grocers, which just refers to grocery stores collectively. We'll say like Carrefour, have taken steps to encourage people to bring their own bags from home instead of using the plastic ones provided. Okay, just read that example again, make sure I worded it okay. For example, many international grocers like Carrefour have taken steps to encourage people to bring their own bags from home instead of using the plastic ones provided. Okay, now many of my online students know that the best examples are the ones that make reference to real people or real countries or real global phenomena or real companies. These are the strongest because they show your example in action. And it's difficult for people to, more difficult anyways, for them to counter argue because you've shown them that this is a real phenomena that's happening in the world. So if we had taken Carrefour away, and if we just said, international grocers have taken steps to encourage people to bring, I mean, that's sort of, what international grocers? Who are we talking about? So, when you can, try to include real names, real people, real events, real companies, real countries. These sorts of things bring strength to your argument. Okay, that's the example. Now, let's discuss the example. What we have to show here is that this lifestyle change of people bringing their own bags to grocery stores has had effects, has created positive ramifications, and that these ramifications have helped the state of the environment at large. So let's make reference maybe to landfills and how fewer plastic bags are ending up in landfills as a result of this change. So let's try as a result of this simple lifestyle change. Let's say now Carrefour is a huge, huge store, so I'm just going to make a guess here, but we'll say several. I'd imagine several billion less plastic bags are dumped into landfills every year. And then we just need to comment quickly, which clearly I will say has positive ramifications for the environment as a whole. Okay, let me just reread the sentence. As a result of this simple lifestyle change, several billion less plastic bags are dumped into landfills every year, which clearly has positive ramifications for the environment as a whole. Okay, so now we've clearly shown that this point of view is valid. There's evidence that, if people make changes to their lives, it has an effect. So let's conclude. Thus, it is understandable why this point of view has garnered support. Okay? Now, let me point out that this paragraph, again, has 4 sentences, and that didn't happen by chance. Before we started writing this paragraph, we knew we were going to write 4 sentences. We were going to write a topic sentence. Let me just go over this very quickly. So we knew we were going to write a topic sentence, which was the point of view. On the one hand, many people believe that people should change their lifestyles. That's our topic sentence. First sentence. Second sentence was an example. Okay, we talked about Carrefour. Third sentence was a discussion of the example. So how has the example led, or how does the example prove that lifestyle changes cause good things to happen to the environment? Okay, that's the discussion. And finally was a link back to the main topic of the essay, which is a discussion of the 2 points of view. So thus we can understand why this point of view has garnered support. Okay, now we're not saying that we support this point of view, but we understand why other people would support this point of view. Remember that we're not sharing our opinion until the end of the essay. Now let's go on to the opposing side of this debate. So we started with on the one hand, now we're going to move to on the other hand. So on the other hand, we'll say many people. Now the point of view was that technology, the problems that are created by technology, will actually be solved by newer technology in the years to come. So many people support the notion that one day technology will develop to the point that it is capable of eradicating environmental problems, we'll say. Okay? So the other point of view is that people believe that technology will develop enough that it will be able to eradicate or um, to stop or to destroy the problems of the environment, to stop all the problems that are occurring as a result of it to the environment. Now, we need an opposing example here. So this is our topic sentence. Now we're starting our example sentence. And again, now before I started this video, I had been thinking about this a little bit, and I remember reading about a type of bacteria that that can break down certain toxins. The word I'm using here is toxin, T-O-X-I-N. Certain toxins in landfills. Okay, and like we used last paragraph, a landfill. Landfill is just the place where garbage gets dumped. So there's usually, every city usually has some area where they dump their garbage. You know, all the garbage of all the people in the city, that's the landfill. And of course, you know, when garbage rots, it causes toxins. Toxins are like poisons, you know, gases or maybe liquids and other chemical materials, and that these are cancer causing. They are carcinogenic. Carcinogenic just means they are cancer causing to human beings. Now, the article that I read was that there was a bacteria that has been created that can break down these toxins and render them less harmful to people. So it can render them so they're not so carcinogenic, or they aren't carcinogenic to people. They aren't cancer causing. So maybe we could use this as an example. So basically, technology has created this bacteria which can reduce the dangers of toxins coming from landfills. Okay? And this is a step towards a future where technology sort of self-regulates itself and you know, cleans up all the problems that it creates. So for the example, let's word it like this. Maybe okay, for instance, recently a new bacteria strain, if we want to sound really technical, a new bacteria strain has been developed that can break down toxins produced by rotting garbage in landfills. Okay? So this is a technology that is cleaning up environmental problems as opposed to creating them. Okay. Now let's discuss this a bit. So now what we want to say is that these toxins are damaging to human beings. And the fact that the technology is reducing these toxins is a sign that technology can regulate itself to a certain degree. So let's just start with maybe as these toxins are, use that word carcinogenic, comma, or carcinogenic to humans, the extreme benefits technology sorry, let me just change this a bit. The ability for technology to to cleanse and purify the environment and its ability, no, just change it to can be seen. Okay, the ability for technology to cleanse, let's say cleanse the environment and regulate itself can be seen. Now we're talking about technology. The problems that technology creates can also be taken care of by more technology, so it's able to regulate itself. Okay, as these toxins are carcinogenic to humans, the ability for technology to cleanse the environment and regulate itself can be seen. So we're just saying this example shows that technology can do good things for the environment, not simply cause more problems. Now, final sentence for this is another conclusion. We're not going to state our opinion, we're just going to state that we can understand why people support this point of view. So thus, it is understandable why many have faith that technological developments will supplant the need for human lifestyle changes. Okay? So we've used another version of the word technology to couple it with a noun. Thus it is understandable why many have faith that technological developments will supplant, which means to replace, supplant the need for human lifestyle changes. So humans don't need to change their lifestyles because technology will in the future, take care of all the problems that are caused by it. Now, I just want to point out that sometimes students get a little confused with the use of the word many. Now here, the word many is the same as saying many people. We could type in here many people. Okay? But we don't need to. If we just write the word many, this means the same thing. It is understandable why many have faith. The many refers to just many people. Okay, once again, as you can see in this paragraph, we have 4 sentences. We had a topic sentence, we had an example, that bacteria. We discussed the example, we showed how that kind of technology can clean the environment and can regulate itself. And finally, we talked about how we can see the manner in which other people support this point of view. Now, we're going to start our conclusion paragraph. In this paragraph, we are going to do a few different things. For one, we're going to summarize the 2 points of view that we looked at in the essay. 2, we're going to share our point of view. So do we think that humanity should collectively change the way that it lives, the way that lifestyles are carried out, or do we think in the future technology will take care of the problems that it creates? So we're just going to state which point of view we gravitate towards. Thirdly, we're going to finish our essay with either a recommendation or some kind of prediction or hope for the future. Okay, this is a nice way to finish our essay. It can sometimes be a little poetic in a way, and it leaves the reader with a final thought. So, to start, so we're going to start with something that sort of summarizes, what we have looked at in the above paragraphs. So, following this look at the varying opinions regarding this debate, it is felt now, so this first part we've just given a little summary, and now we're going into our point of view. So now personally, when I look at the two supporting paragraphs that we've written, I think both are positive positive things. So if the first paragraph, people using plastic bags less and changing their lifestyle to be a little bit more environmentally conscious, I think that's a good thing. And then the second, the new technology, and these technologies that help to break down the problems that are caused by humans and our lifestyles, I think this is also positive. So personally, I think we can try to choose something that is in the middle. Now, for your IELTS examination, I encourage you to choose either one side or the other side, and to not choose something down the middle, simply because it's easier to word this kind of sentence. So to word that to support both things is difficult. It could cause you grammar problems. It could cause your examiner to become a little bit confused with what you're trying to say. So there's just too much risk in doing it, really. So I encourage you to choose one or the other. But for today, let's go with supporting both. So let's say something like, it is felt humanity should draw from the advantages of, we'll just say both camps. Camps can refer to both points of view when devising a strategy to deal with we'll say the environmental problems caused by new technologies. Okay? So we feel that, just check the wording real quick. So it is felt humanity should draw from the advantages of both camps when devising a strategy to deal with the environmental problems caused by new technologies. Okay. Now we're going to finish with, maybe we can try a prediction of sorts, I guess. So we can say, in doing so, now we expect, so it is expected that one day humanity will be able to live harmoniously with nature. Okay, very simple little ending. So in doing so, it is expected that one day humanity will be able to live harmoniously with nature. This is our prediction. Okay, so if our point of view comes true, then someday in the future, human beings will live without causing problems to the environment. And that's the end of the essay. That's all there is to it. There's a formula. So we know we have 4 paragraphs in total. We have an introduction paragraph, we have 2 supporting paragraphs, and we have a concluding paragraph. The introduction paragraph had 4 sentences. Each supporting paragraph had 4 sentences. Our conclusion paragraph had 2 sentences. Okay, you can see that the entire essay worked as a team. So the introduction, it kind of provided a map for the essay. The 2 supporting paragraphs talked about different sorts of opinions based on the initial argument. And our conclusion paragraph shared our opinion on the argument. Now let's go back to the beginning and read through the essay from the beginning. Okay. Technology has brought numerous benefits to lifestyles and societies around the world. But with it, a number of environmental problems have been set in motion. Whether technology will ultimately prove the solution to these issues is a highly contentious topic. So the word "these issues," another area of cohesion, we're talking about the problems that came in the sentence before. In this essay, both sides of this debate will be analyzed before a reasoned conclusion is drawn. On the one hand, many believe that individuals should adopt simpler and less technologically dependent lifestyles to tackle environmental damage. For example, many international grocers like Carrefour have taken steps to encourage people to bring their own bags from home instead of using the plastic ones provided. As a result of this simple lifestyle change, several billion less plastic bags are dumped into landfills every year, which clearly has positive ramifications for the environment as a whole. Thus, it is understandable why this point of view has garnered support. On the other hand, many people support the notion that one day technology will develop to the point that it is capable of eradicating environmental problems. For instance, recently a new bacteria strain has been developed that can break down toxins produced by rotting garbage in landfills. As these toxins are carcinogenic to humans, the ability to cleanse the environment and regulate itself can be seen. The ability for technology to cleanse itself, to cleanse the environment and regulate itself can be seen. Thus, it is understandable why many have faith that technological developments will supplant the need for human lifestyle changes. Following this look at the varying opinions regarding this debate, it is felt humanity should draw from the advantages of both camps when devising a strategy to deal with the environmental problems caused by new technologies. In doing so, it is expected that one day humanity will be able to live harmoniously with nature. Okay, that concludes our lesson on using the word technology in an essay and responding to essay questions that are on the subject of technology. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for listening.